If a quiet number on your lab report kept climbing and you felt nothing, would you notice? Triglycerides can do exactly that. When they're persistently high, they're linked to cardiovascular risk, and when they shoot very high, they can trigger painful pancreatitis. The part most people miss is that you don't need symptoms for triglycerides to be a problem. If you haven't checked yours recently, this might be the most important health minute you spend this week, because we're about to walk through 10 science-backed ways to bring those numbers down safely, starting today. You're in a place where everything is explained in plain English and grounded in real research. This is educational content. For personal care, please speak with your own clinician. Let's start with something many people drink every day: cutting out sugary beverages, soda, sweet tea, energy drinks, flavored coffees, and even that 100% fruit juice is one of the fastest levers you can pull. Your liver turns excess sugars, especially fructose, into new fat via a pathway called de novo lipogenesis. Those fats are packaged into VLDL particles, and your triglycerides go up. According to cardiovascular and nutrition researchers, liquid sugars are particularly potent at driving this process. A simple 2-week experiment works. Switch to water, sparkling water with lemon, black coffee, or unsweetened tea. Common mistake: assuming natural juice doesn't count. Your bloodstream doesn't read labels. Concentrated sugar behaves like sugar. Add oily fish to the week. Twice is a practical target. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout bring omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA, that help lower triglycerides, especially when levels are elevated. Clinical guidance notes that, in people with high triglycerides, prescription-strength omega-3s at 4 grams per day can reduce levels in the range most patients care about. There's also solid evidence that purified EPA added to statin therapy lowers cardiovascular events in selected high-risk patients. Those results came from prescription products, not basic over-the-counter blends. Translation: plan 2 fish dinners on your calendar right now, and if your numbers remain stubbornly high, ask your clinician whether you're a candidate for prescription therapy. Trade refined carbohydrates for intact ones. White bread, crackers, pastries, and ultra-processed snacks spike blood sugar and insulin and can nudge triglycerides higher, both in fasting labs and after meals. Intact grains like steel-cut oats or barley, plus beans and lentils, digest more slowly and flatten the post-meal lipid wave. A practical rule of thumb: if your starch is soft, fluffy, and sweet, it's probably a triglyceride accelerator. If it's chewy, fibrous, or bean-based, you're headed in the right direction. The common trap is buying whole-grain cookies or granola bars that still carry heavy added sugars. Move your body on most days. Even a single bout of aerobic exercise can lower the rise in triglycerides after the next day's meals. Doing it regularly compounds the effect by improving how your muscles use fats and sugars. Public health targets of 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate activity are a strong foundation. If you prefer short, focused sessions, comfortable walking, peppered with brief, brisk intervals, works well for many people. The key is consistency. A useful pairing: a 15 to 20-minute stroll after dinner. It's short, it's doable, and it directly interrupts the post-meal surge that feeds triglycerides. If you carry extra weight, aim for a sustainable 5 to 10% loss, not overnight, but over months. You don't need to be model thin to change your labs. Even modest weight reduction can meaningfully lower triglycerides while improving insulin sensitivity. Think one notch down across the board. Slightly smaller plates, protein and fiber at every meal, and that steady evening walk. The mistake that derails most people is chasing aggressive, unsustainable diets that bounce back. The science is plain. Sustainability beats intensity. Add soluble fiber on purpose. Oats, beans, lentils, chia, ground flax, and psyllium husk. Slow carbohydrate absorption, tame post-meal glucose, and in turn can reduce the triglyceride load your liver has to package. Researchers studying soluble fiber, especially psyllium, have shown improvements in lipid profiles when it's used alongside a healthy diet. A simple entry point is 1 to 2 teaspoons of plain psyllium mixed into yogurt or water before your 2 largest meals. Always drink extra water to avoid constipation. The frequent error is adding fiber supplements but keeping the white flour and sugary snacks. The benefits get canceled when the inputs don't change. Check your relationship with alcohol. In some people, even modest amounts raise triglycerides, sometimes dramatically, by stimulating the liver to produce more VLDL particles. If your levels are up, try a genuinely alcohol-free trial for 3 to 4 weeks and retest. Let your numbers tell you how sensitive you are. If you later choose to drink, keep it light and avoid binge patterns entirely, especially if you have diabetes or already elevated triglycerides. This is one of those cases where N of 1 data, your own lab results, beats theory. Choose a proven eating pattern instead of chasing fads. 2 models consistently support better triglyceride control. A Mediterranean-style pattern rich in vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and fish, and a lower carbohydrate, higher protein approach that trims added sugars and refined starches. Both can work. The best one is the one you can live with. A tiny tactic that pays off. Pair each portion of carbohydrate with protein and fiber. For breakfast, Greek yogurt with chia and berries beats a muffin. For lunch, a bean-based salad topped with tuna and olive oil beats a big white roll sandwich. Watch for stealth sugars in healthy granolas and yogurts. Audit secondary causes and medications with your clinician's help. Uncontrolled diabetes, untreated hypothyroidism, kidney disease, and certain medications can all drive triglycerides up. Examples include some forms of estrogen therapy, glucocorticoids, certain antiretrovirals, select atypical antipsychotics, bile acid sequestrants, and in some cases, thiazide diuretics or non-selective beta blockers. If your triglycerides seem stubborn despite lifestyle changes, bring a written list of your medications and conditions and ask directly, could any of these be contributing? Sometimes an adjustment is possible, and it can make a bigger difference than another nutrition tweak. Balance fats intelligently. This is not about avoiding fat. It's about choosing fats that are friendlier to your triglyceride metabolism. Replace saturated fats, think butter, fatty cuts of meat, cream, with unsaturated fats from olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fish. A classic plate that checks every box. Grilled salmon over a bean and vegetable salad, dressed with olive oil and lemon. Just remember, the dose still matters. It's easy to double or triple portions of healthy fats and overshoot your calorie needs, which can nudge triglycerides back up. Know when lifestyle isn't enough and why that's okay. If fasting triglycerides stay very high, especially above 500 milligrams per deciliter, your clinician will first target pancreatitis prevention. That strategy usually pairs an aggressive lifestyle push with targeted medication. Statins are often used to reduce overall cardiovascular risk. Fibrates and prescription omega-3s may be considered for severe elevations. And purified EPA, known generically as icosapent ethyl, may be added in specific high-risk situations in people already taking statins. None of this means you've failed. It means your biology needs more help, and modern therapies exist for exactly that. Let's turn this into a simple plan you can actually do. First, get a fasting lipid panel if you haven't had one in the last year. Write down 2 numbers, triglycerides and non-HDL cholesterol. That second one is a strong marker of cholesterol carried in potentially atherogenic particles. Second, pick just one habit to change today. Eliminate sugary drinks for 14 days, schedule and shop for 2 fish dinners, or commit to a 20-minute walk after dinner. Third, set a date to recheck in 8 to 12 weeks and bring your notes, what you changed, how often you stuck to it, what got in the way, and how you felt. That loop, measure, act, remeasure, is how lab numbers actually move. You can picture the finish line with a quick mental recap. Sugary drinks out, fiber and fish in. Move most days and test your personal alcohol response. Choose a sustainable eating pattern and pair carbs with protein and fiber. Check for hidden medical contributors and review your medication list. And if lifestyle alone doesn't get you over the hump, talk with your clinician about therapies designed for this problem. Paying attention early can translate into more healthy years with the people you love. Here's how the 10 ideas sound when strung together as a week you can live with. On Sunday, plan your 2 fish dinners and build a grocery list that leans on beans, oats, chia, and vegetables. On Monday, start the no sugary drinks trial. On Tuesday, prep a large batch of lentils or a bean salad as a base for quick meals. On Wednesday, take an honest look at alcohol and decide whether a 4-week pause makes sense. Your labs will guide your future choice. On Thursday, try a 20-minute walk right after dinner. Notice how your sleep feels. On Friday, swap your usual white flour lunch for a bowl built from intact grains, beans, greens, and a protein like tuna or chicken. Dress it with olive oil and lemon. On Saturday, inventory your medications and conditions and make a note for your next appointment. Are any of these pushing my triglycerides up? Repeat the loop next week with fewer decisions because you already stocked the pantry and scheduled the walks. Because people often ask about quick fixes, let's tackle 3 myths in plain language. Myth 1. Fruit sugar doesn't count. Whole fruit, chewed with fiber, behaves differently than juice. Most people do fine with 1 to 2 pieces of whole fruit daily as part of an overall plan. It's the liquid sugar and concentrated sweets that push the liver hardest. Myth 2. All fats raise triglycerides. In reality, shifting from saturated to unsaturated fats while controlling total calories can improve your profile. Myth 3. Supplements replace habits. Even when a clinician prescribes omega-3s or other medications, the biggest, most reliable changes still come from what you eat, drink, and do most days. If you want a 1-minute shopping checklist, here it is. Base foods, oats or barley, beans and lentils, frozen vegetables, leafy greens, tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, berries, chia, ground flax, plain yogurt, eggs, canned sardines or tuna in water or olive oil and mixed nuts. Swap targets, trade soda and juice for water or unsweetened tea. White flour products for intact grains or legumes. Butter for olive oil. Fatty cuts of meat for fish or leaner cuts. Add-ons that help. A jar of psyllium husk, lemons for dressings, and a weekly fish plan stuck to your fridge. If it's in the house and ready to go, you'll use it. 2 common sticking points deserve a quick strategy. First, eating out. Scan menus for bean-based bowls, grilled fish, side salads, and vegetables. Ask for dressings on the side and choose olive oil-based options. If the bread basket is a trigger, let the server know to skip it. Second, family routines. Don't overhaul everything at once. Keep 1 or 2 familiar meals each week and change the sides. Swap fries for a bean and veggie salad, or add a pot of chili made with extra beans and lean ground turkey. Incremental changes that everyone eats beat perfect solo meals no one else will touch. As your plan takes shape, remember that numbers bounce from day to day. That's why 8 to 12 weeks is a sensible retest window. Use the time to build repeatable routines instead of chasing perfect days. Your goal isn't just a prettier lab report. It's a body that handles meals more smoothly, with less of the post-meal surge that quietly feeds triglycerides. If this helped, tell me in the comments the one habit you'll try first. Share this with someone who's working on their labs, and subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos on triglycerides versus LDL, what matters when, and breakfast swaps that flatten the mid-morning spike. Educational note: I use cautious language and lean on credible sources. This video does not replace personalized medical advice. Please partner with your healthcare professional for decisions about tests and treatments.